Syntax scoring. You ask the submarine to determine the best route out of the deep sea cave, but it only replies syntax error navigation subsystem online, all of them. The damage is worse than you thought. You bring up a copy of the navigation subsystem, your puzzle input. The navigation subsystem syntax is made of several lines containing chunks. There are more chunks on each line, and chunks contain 0 or other chunks. One or more chunks on each line. Each chunks contain 0 or more other chunks. Adjacent chunks are not separated by any delimiter. If one chunk stops, the next chunk, if any, can immediately start. Every chunk must open and close with one of 4 legal pairs of matching characters. If a chunk opens with parentheses, it must close with parentheses. If a chunk opens with square bracket, it must close with square bracket, curly braces, and angle bracket. Okay? So that's a legal chunk that contains no other chunks, as is square brackets. More complex but valid chunks include that, this, and even that. Some lines are incomplete, others are corrupted. Find and discard the corrupted ones first. A corrupted line is one where a chunk closes with the wrong character. That is, where the characters it opens and closes with do not form one of the 4 legal pairs listed above. Examples of corrupted chunks include that one. Yeah, so when we're reading it, we're going to try to close a chunk, and if we can't close it, we know we have an error. So, and if we do that, then we just discard the whatever was opened as well. Such a chunk can appear anywhere within a line, and its presence causes the whole line to be considered corrupted. Okay, consider the following navigation subsystem. Okay. Open. So we basically go until we find a close, and then we pop the latest opening one that matches. Otherwise, that whole line goes away. Okay, some of the lines aren't corrupted, just incomplete. You can ignore these lines for now. The remaining 5 lines are corrupted. Okay, so we're going to ignore it if we don't know how many chunks there are, because it doesn't close all of them. Like we have more opens than closes or whatever. But the ones that we're trying to close and we have no opening tag that matches that one. Okay. Stop at the first incorrect closing character on each corrupted line. Did you know that syntax checkers actually have contests to see who can get the highest score for syntax errors in a file? It's true. To calculate the syntax error score for a line, take the first illegal character on the line and look it up in the following table. Okay, so we're ignoring lines that are incomplete, but as soon as we find a corrupted line, we'll take the first illegal character and look it up in the following table. Okay. Find the first illegal character in each corrupted line of the navigation subsystem. What is the total syntax error score for those errors? Okay. Let's see. Day 10, test. Let's grab that puzzle input. And then we will have static func run. Here we'll take our input, will be read file, day 10.test. And I think I would like to, we could sort of model this as a chunk delimiter or something like that. Or a chunk open tag. And then we could have different cases. I'm not quite sure how I want to model this at the moment. Let's see. We'll get lines, input.lines. For each line, we need to start parsing, and so what I think that this would be is we'd have some sort of stack. Like a program stack that has a, and every time we say we push an open tag, And then maybe we could pop with a close tag, something like that. Let's just make that a string so we can actually get it to compile. So I need to read this one character at a time. So we'll say something like for char inline. Yeah, for line in lines, for char inline. Okay, so we can always push an open tag. So here we'll have our open tags be an array of chunk open tag. Why string and not character for stack element? This one? It could be a character. I did this so it compile because I don't have a type here. I was thinking I would want to use a something of this sort. This would be like not bar, case, parens, brackets, something like that. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it's a little bit awkward to even describe those. We could do character until we see that we need to. Yeah, okay. How about a recursive call to isValidChunk that returns a bool every time a new starting delimiter is found? It can call. Yeah, I think this is going to be something of a recursive structure, though I don't know. Like sometimes we get like an easier solution for part one, and then part two makes us do something more complicated. Well, this is always how it works. But I don't want to like jump to solutions that I don't experience the pain for yet, or I don't have a requirement for it. Okay, so in this case, the open tags would be characters. We'd start off like that. When we push, we can always push as long as it's a valid tag. So then we'll say open tags.append tag. Okay, we're gonna say valid tags, valid open tags is that, and this. And then valid closing tags are the opposite of those things. Yeah, not this. Okay. And then we'll have some errors that we could throw maybe. And here we could say invalid open tag, invalid close tag. Let's just call it invalid tag. Guard valid open tags contains tag else throw errors dot invalid tag. An integer for every type of tag +1 or open. If negative, you have a syntax error. That's true too. Yeah, because you're basically just incrementing the depth, but you need to know what was the last open tag if you do that. That's why I thought that the stack data structure would work here, because then I would just pop and then I know what the previous tag was. So here I can only pop to close a tag, to close a chunk, if the last element in the open tags array. So first I will guard that valid close tags contains this tag, otherwise I'll throw invalid tag. We'll also guard that, so we need to know what the matching tag is. I suppose we could find it with these tags and use the index, because the index is match. So we need to get the index. So that would be valid close tags dot index first index of tag valid closing tags. I think close tags. That's what I called it. Okay. Character. Okay, so this, we know it's in there because it contained it, so I can force unwrap that. So then we would say open tag is that valid open tags. Sorry, this needs to be close tags. Valid open tags, character at index. Can I do that? Okay. This needs to be mutating. And so does this. Okay. All right, let's see. Let's go back over here and grab first index of character. We don't do substrings. I can just say index, right? Does that give me, it's unavailable. I need to use string.index. So if I say first index of character, I get a string.index. So if I say E, and then I have another string, or if I want to get the one after that, let's say I could say hello dot I dot I need that to be in a string, because then I could say that dot string dot index after, or index offset or whatever, index after I, and that would give me L. String dot, oops, string. Yeah, okay, that works. Yeah, but in this case I just have index. So that gives me the open tag, and then I need to make sure if the last element in the open tags dot last, if it equals this open tag, then we can remove it. Otherwise we need to throw that error. So this needs to be throws. So we'll say open tags dot remove last, else throw unexpected closing tag, or maybe we could just say corrupted chunk. Okay, something along those lines. Okay, so for each character in the line, we need to have our program stack be initialized here. Actually, no, I think for each line we process it separately, I believe. We'll have a program stack, and we'll say program.push char. Oh, I don't actually push and pop, I just need to know. So we'll mutating func parse character. And then here I could say if valid open tags contains tag, then I will push that tag. else if valid close tags dot contains tag. Then we'll pop that tag, and both of these need try in front. Okay, we'll try program.push. These, I guess, could be private, but okay. So at this point, I don't quite know where I want to catch this error, perhaps on the line level. So we continue processing other lines, yeah. And then here we would catch the error. Okay. It builds. Let's run it. We're running the wrong one right now, so let's go grab main.swift. Okay. Build. Yep. Run it. Okay. So let's print out the lines we're processing. So we'll say print processing line. And then we will probably want to process each character here. Print so that we know what we're doing. Okay. All right, so it goes all the way to here, and then eventually we get invalid tags, so I have some sort of mistake, I guess. That would be on this closing. Let's take a look at the input here. So it was here. It was that first closing parentheses. Do I not have that in my list here? Valid close tags. Yep. Yep. I want to actually pass in the character when we do invalid tag. The weird part about this is that we know it contained it because I jumped into that. So I think that it was trying to pop, making sure that the valid close tags contained that tag, and then that's pretty strange actually. Let me run this one more time. Swift invalid tag closing curly brace. Valid close tags contains that tag, otherwise throw. That is okay, so these are all opens, and it failed on the first close one. Let me just run the first line and then bail, just so that we can focus on that one. And here we have the very first closing The very first closing one fails. But we know that it contained that tag. Try pop tag. Cracker, I don't know what you're talking about. All right. Yeah, I'm only throwing this from these two places. I assume that here I'm going to say print ignoring. This could also throw invalid tag, and then I wouldn't even have to guard here. Yeah, why don't I do that? Print invalid tag. Tag, throw. I could just throw it here. Errors.invalid tag. Tag. Okay. Let's run it and see what we get now. Processing line. Okay, so at this point, we're not throwing an error. I'm not quite sure what I had wrong. It was probably something obvious, but in any case, we were able to get to the very end without breaking. So that means that first line looks like it is complete. And what are we supposed to be counting here? For syntax errors in a file. To calculate the syntax error score for a line, take the first illegal character on the line and look it up in the following table. Okay, so we do need that to know. So we'll have a syntax error score. Let's just make this the function. Syntax error score for the first invalid character, first illegal character on the line, and look it up in the following table. Okay, so we just need the tag, and this gives us an int. And then they're always the closing ones. You can never fail on an opening one, because I'm assuming all this input is always going to be one of those characters. So it's got to be a closing character. Let's move this into... Do I want to keep these around? No, I think it's fine. I'm just going to have a lookup of these two ints. 3 points. This would be square bracket would be 57 points. Then the curly brace closing would be 1197. 97 points. And then angle bracket would be 25137. Okay. So that would find this tag or maybe return 0. Okay, so now we've got a syntax error score. We're trying to find where which character was an illegal line, if there was one. So by the time we get to this end for this line, we need to catch a specific error. I need to figure out what is happening with that in my Vim setup. So when I want to add a new curly closing brace here, it just highlights the one I already have, which is super dumb. So I end up having to like copy and paste. So this is going to be catch errors dot corrupted chunk. and I need to know what the tag was here. So we'll say let tag, and then inside of here we can say corrupted chunk on tag, and then that will give me the way to calculate the score for this line. So let's say that line score is 0. We say line score equals score, syntax error score for this tag. And then I need the error to also keep the character. Okay, so this one is on the program stack. Okay, and then this guy needs to do that. Okay. I no longer want to print each character, I don't think. I could, and then do Terminator space like that. And at the very end, after all of those, yeah, I'll just print a new line after it's done. That way we would see it in order. Okay. So this, so the line score at the very end, I want to print out. We're going to go to new line, tab character, Terminator, nothing. So that way we can have a little bit better output. Okay, line score is 0. They're all 0. That doesn't seem correct. So the first closing tag gets paired up with that one. This closing tag gets paired up with that one. Open, close. This closing tab gets paired up with that one. I'm pretty sure this one is correct. 2 open squares, open curly, close square, open curly. If we get to the end and there isn't one, it's incomplete, and they said to ignore it. Let's get rid of the spammers. Okay, in the example above, this was found twice. Okay, so some of the lines aren't corrupted, just incomplete. You can ignore these, okay? The remaining 5 lines are corrupted. So this line should, if I process just this input, let's do this and say input is just that. Okay, so if we have this, then we should be able to reproduce the error. It's not. Okay, Okay, we should have an error on this one right here. And it didn't throw an error. So when it goes to that error, or that closing tag, and we try to pop, we look at the last open tag that we had, and that would have been this. No, that would have been this one. And we want to make sure that that is the same open tag. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so it gets the index of the close tag, then finds the open tag. So let's just print out expecting to close that, and then we'll say the last open tag is open tags.last. Okay, let's try that. It never calls pop. Is it just pushing everything? No, it can't be. Pushing. Popping. Oh, I am running. What is happening? Program, this is why. Program.parse. That's why. And that's why we got an invalid character, because I was trying to parse everything. No, this is not Python, this is Swift. Okay, I think I can avoid printing all this extra stuff here. Okay, I'm gonna build. Okay. Corrupted tag on, okay, perfect. So that line score was correct. Okay, let's get rid of that and go back to our input so we can actually see the line scores. Do I know Python? I mean, not well, no. I know Swift and Ruby the most. Okay. So now that we have all of these, we have kind of a bunch of... I kind of want to process each line separately and get the score. So then I can change this up a little bit. Let me get rid of this because we know that's working now. What are we supposed to do with these scores? Add them up? Yeah, so the total syntax error score for this file is that. Okay. Okay, so this would be syntax error score for that tag. We would have total score. I'm just gonna make this just kind of in line like this until we realize how we actually need to structure this for part 2. Okay, so total score, yada, 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 line score, we will say total score plus equals line score. Print syntax error score for file is total score. All right. That is correct. Okay, so let's go grab our actual input. So let's grab day10.input. Grab our file here. And then we'll change this to use that input. Okay, I'm going to get rid of a couple of these things so we can just see we're processing the lines. Just make sure we don't get any kind of weird errors there. Build and run. Okay. Let's try that. That's right. Okay, part 2. Now discard the corrupted lines. The remaining lines are incomplete. Incomplete lines don't have any incorrect characters. Instead, they're missing some closing characters at the end of the line. To repair the navigation subsystem, you need to figure out the sequence of closing characters that complete all open chunks in the line. Okay, so you can only use closing characters, and you must add them in the correct order, so only the legal pairs formed and all chunks end up closed. This should be pretty easy. Did you know that autocomplete tools also have contests? It's true. The score is determined by considering the completion string character by character. Start with the score of 0, then for each character multiply the total score by 5, then increase the total score by the point value given for the following table. Okay, so let's go grab the function that we used for syntax error score is this one. We'll have another one for autocomplete score. And I'm not quite sure what we're going to print in, but this is our lookup table. So this is, let's see if we can do this. Yeah. Trying to think of how I want to structure this. Oops. Trying to figure out how I want to. Oh, there we go. Delete until the end. Okay. This is going to be an array of characters, I think. And then we start by multiplying total score of 0 for each character, multiply total score by 5, and then increase it by this much. Okay. So we start at 0. So I think we could use reduce for this. Start at 0. And then we'll take the total and the character in. We'll take total times 5 plus scores for that character. And we'll force unwrap it. That's this guy. Okay. Cannot convert expected character to expected argument type. What is it? String? Yeah. So I just need to give Swift a little bit of a hint. Okay. So now I've got autocomplete score for the sequence, and got my program stack. So at this point now we know. If the line, we're done parsing the line, but we need to know like how to autocomplete it. So we could check to see if the program for this line has any open tags remaining. Let's see. Is incomplete. Then we could say program.autocomplete. And this would give me back the autocomplete characters. And then I can get the score for that. Autocomplete score for autocomplete characters. Let's call that autocomplete sequence. Okay. Okay, so now we want to know if the program is incomplete. So we go back over to our program. I do want to make this stuff private just because I think that I'd rather have just a var is incomplete Boolean as my public interface for that. And then we could say not open tags is empty. If it's incomplete. Okay, so now we need to make this autocomplete function. And this will return the characters that it is completing. So we'll get our sequence is an array of characters. Start off at empty, return it at the end. Sequence, and then we'll say we'll say while the open tags is empty is false. We will get the open tag. Open tags dot remove last, and we can actually do while let open tag equals that dot remove last. Yeah, and then we can get the closing tag for this open tag. We already have this function written, getting the expected open tag for a closing tag. We basically need the same thing here. Valid open tags, first index of tag, then we get valid close tags for that index, and we'll add that to the sequence. Okay, character. I don't want that to be called sequence. Let's just go to, oops, autocomplete score. This will be unnamed. Okay. This is mutating func autocomplete. Actually doesn't have to be mutating if I make a copy. Tags is open tags. And then I can just say tags.remove last because I don't need it to actually be mutating. Okay. Remove last. I could have sworn that remove last. Will this throw? Returns and removes the last element. Oh, wow. I thought that would give me kind of like first and last. Removing elements. Pop last, that's what we want. Pop last. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, let's build it, and Oh yeah, and then, okay, so now we are going through each time, and we have got the score for auto-completing this line. So we will print autocomplete sequence is the autocomplete sequence, and then the score for that line is score, and then we're going to change the total score. Let's see, line score started at 0. So now we would say line score, let's just do that, equals line score like that, line score here, and then we're no longer going to do the thing here. We're actually going to just ignore this corrupted chunk thing. Line scores here, and then with total score is line score. Okay, let's build that and run it. Okay, let's see. Does that work? Okay, so the last line above is scored. I think I have this correct. Let's go to our actual input, our test input. Build and run, and we get this 2771042. No. Okay, hang on. So we have, I guess we're not adding them together. Each line score we get differently. Then the 5 lines completion strings have total score of following. Okay, so let's look at that first one, 288957. Yep, and then 5566, then 1480781. Yes, okay, so that's correct. Autocomplete tools are an odd bunch. The winner is found by sorting all the scores and taking the middle score. There will always be an odd number of scores to consider. Okay, and this meant, okay. So we need to, instead of taking total score, we need to have line scores as an array of ints. And then at the end, we'll say line scores.append, line score. And then here we can say total score is line scores dot sorted. And then we need to take the median out of this array. And I don't think array has a median element. So if there's like, I don't know, 5 elements, then we'll take that minus 1 divided by 2, which would give me 2. So that would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that would, yeah, this minus 1 divided by 2, I guess. Line scores dot count minus 1 over 2. Index out of range. Yeah, if we have any. Wait, is that correct? That is correct. Okay. All right. That can't be right. We need to get rid of all of the line scores that are 0, because there's a lot of zeros. If line score greater than 0, then we'll append. Okay. 288957, was that the one? Yep. Okay. Let's go grab this, go back over to our live input. And then do a build, run it. Oops, run it. There's our answer. Okay, so that is the end of day 10. Any questions on the solution or anything else before I wrap it up? I am probably going to stop streaming these pretty soon. This may be the last one, I'm not quite sure, because I'm having a hard time finding the time to actually dedicate a couple of hours to solve these solutions. This is my first time doing this, and not really knowing what I was getting into when I was saying, oh, I'm going to stream every single one of them, because it's actually a considerable amount of work. And seeing as how I'm already 10 days behind, it doesn't bode well for me to get much farther in this before the event is over. That doesn't mean we can't keep like working towards these solutions. The thing is if I have time to work on a solution, let's say I have like 30 minutes, I could kind of jump in and get started on it. But it's harder to get set up and stream and then sort of stitch together the videos so I can post those to YouTube as well. So I'm not quite sure how I could even catch up. So I don't know. Oh no, sucks to hear that. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that, these are entertaining or educational. So I don't know. We'll see. It's not that I don't want to do it. It's just trying to find the time is kind of difficult. But anyway, thanks for sticking around on the stream today. And I'm still posting these videos to YouTube, a few days after I finish it. So if I do more of them, just follow me on Twitch so you get notified. So anyway, I hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you again later.